Welcome to the KrisCross Corner podcast.
Welcome back to the KrisCross Corner. I'm your host, Chris Canty. And if you are listening to this on the podcast, either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Anchor, please understand that you have the power to give us topics for the episodes on Anchor, anchor.fm/KrisCrossCorner/support. Give your $5 a month or $10 a month if you're feeling really generous. It's the holiday season. Go to shopkriscross.com, grab a classic hoodie from my collection. Promo code Chris, K-R-I-S, to get free shipping. Now let's get into the tier list of the week. As you can see, we have the almighty KrisCross tier list. At the top is God tier. Behind that is great. Then we have good teams. Then we have average, bad, and of course on the bottom is trash. Now, as you all know, as you can see, I have my Detroit Pistons logo and my Nike swish. I'm not sponsored by Nike, I'm just putting it on for today. I am a Detroit Pistons fan. However, the Pistons are gonna go in, they're not a trash team. I would just say they're a bad team. You wanna know why? Because they don't know how to rotate their players. I'm going to cut it right there and let the great debaters debate me or agree with me on the next episode. But we're going to put them at bad right now because it's horrible. I should be at the game right now. We're facing it's the 8th, December 8th, 2021. I should be at LCA right now watching the Wizards beat the Pistons. Yes, I said it. The Wizards are going to beat the Pistons. You want to know why? All the reasons I said earlier, because they don't know how to rotate their players. We're gonna lose because we play scared. That's just the reality of the situation. Anyway, the Wizards, they are a good team this year. I wouldn't say great, and they're definitely not God tier. So we're gonna start off with the next team, which is gonna be right here. The Philadelphia 76ers. They are currently on December 8th, 2021. They're currently in 6th place in the East. They are a great team. Joel Embiid, got who's on the team? Tobias Harris is on the team. That's pretty much all I know about the 76ers. They're a very great team. They're going to go to the playoffs. You know, they're pretty good. Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to put them next to the Pistons. They're not that good. Actually, I'll put them as trash because they never really won anything. At least the Pistons won 3 titles. Cleveland Cavaliers. This year, they're actually 8th in the East right now. 13 and 12. So I put them at an average team this year. They might end up in the playoffs. They might be in the play-in game. But right now they're an average team. Indiana Pacers. They're 13th in the East right now. We're at 10-16. 10 wins, 16 losses. I don't want to do this to them. They're a really good team. But right now they're performing at an average pace. So I'm gonna put them at average. Milwaukee Bucks, the reigning defending world champions. I would say they've won 16 games and lost 9. They started off a bit rocky, but now they've figured out what they're gonna do. They shook it off like this is who we are. We're the Bucks. We're the world champions. I'll put them in great. I wouldn't put them at God tier, but they're a great team. Really great team. It's going to be hard to get in God tier this year because no one's really shown me. If we've only played 25 games and no one's really shown me that they can be God tier. Minus a few teams, you already know who they are. We're going to get to them later in the list. However, it's not going to be the next team. Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors have fell off completely. They're still good, but they're not at the hype that they were 2 years ago. They're a good team. I will put them in good. Good team behind the Wizards because the Wizards are doing circles on everybody this year. They're in 5th place. Toronto Raptors are not in 5th place. They're in 12th place. Now we're going over to the West for a few minutes. We have the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. The Dallas Mavericks are 7th in the West with 11 wins, 12 losses. I'm going to put the Dallas Mavericks. They're a good team. I put them in good. And people are saying, oh, if you put Dallas in good, maybe you got to put Toronto in average. And you're right. I'll put Toronto down in average. Better than the Cavs, though. Better than the Cavs. All right. Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are 8th in the Western Conference right now. They're a sleeper team to me. I say they're a good team. They're a sleeper team to me. They always figure out a way to get to the Western Conference playoffs for some reason. I don't know how, but they do. Speaking of teams that somehow get to the playoffs, Memphis Grizzlies. They're 4th right now in the West. 14 wins, 10 losses. I don't know. I would say they're a good team. I would say they're good this year. I would say the same for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're a really good team this year. They're just good. They're not great, and they're definitely not God tier. So I'm going to keep it right there. We're going to take a small break to go over how the NBA works. Obviously, I said earlier, we have Eastern Conference, Western Conference. The winner of the Western Conference and the winner of the Eastern Conference go to the NBA Finals. Now, to figure out how people win for both conferences, they have a tournament. Basically, the top 8 teams from each conference, which the top 8 from the West, top 8 from the East. 1 faces 8, 2 faces 7, 3 faces 6, 4 faces 5. And they do 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds until you get to the finals. Usually, it's always been the top 2 teams who go to the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals. There are some anomalies to that rule. However, the best teams in both conferences have always been in the finals or in the Eastern Conference finals or Western Conference finals. The champion last year was the Milwaukee Bucks. And the year before that was the Los Angeles Lakers. Then the years before that was the Toronto Raptors. So 2019 was the Raptors, 2020 was the Lakers, 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks won. This year, we'll never know. It will probably be the God tier or the great teams that might make it to the finals. I'm putting that out there. This is my prophecy. The teams in God tier and great will make it to the finals. One of those teams. 2 of those teams will make it. So keep an eye on the God tier and the great tier. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/KrisCrossCorner/support. Give that $5 a month donation. We need it for the studio to get studio time, bring in guests, and travel for food tours. We need some money to get some food for food tours. So please, please, please support. Tell a friend. Subscribe to the YouTube, KrisCross Corner on YouTube, KrisCross Corner on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All right, back to the tier list. We stopped on the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the San Antonio Spurs are historically a dominant team. This year, not so much. They are 12th in the West. 8-15. Popovich is. I can feel for Popovich because I've been there when your team is great for a long time and now you have to rebuild and you're not winning at all. 8-15, 12th in the West. I'm going to put them at bad. They're a really bad team this year. I'm sorry. Utah Jazz. Can't say anything bad about the Utah Jazz. They are third in the West, 16 wins, 7 losses. Now, I would say they're a great team behind the 76ers. Nothing's going to stop them unless you're Golden State, the Suns, Lakers, or the Mavericks, or the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers might, turn some heads. But speaking of West Coast teams, the Clippers, who are getting a new arena. I forgot what it's going to be. I think it's going to be called Intuit Arena or something like that, Intuit Center, next to the new Rams Chargers Stadium in Inglewood. Clippers have Kawhi Leonard, PG-13. It's a toss-up between these LA teams because we wanted LA Clippers and LA Lakers in the Western Conference Finals last year, 2 years ago actually, and the Clippers choked. But the Clippers are above the Lakers this year as of right now by their away records. They have both the same records. The LA Clippers and the LA Lakers have 13 wins, 12 losses. But the Clippers are a good team above Washington because I know they can get to the semis or the Western Conference Finals. I just don't think they're going to make it to a finals. The same with the Lakers. Lakers are a great team. I wouldn't say God tier, but they're a great team this year because they're not a third quarter team. It's shown for the past 25 games. Their third quarters have been horrible. If they fix their third quarters, I will put them in God tier. But right now, they're just great as of Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. All right, Phoenix Suns went to the finals last year, came short against the Milwaukee Bucks. However, they are second in the West. I will put them as a great team over the Bucks because I saw the finals. I was cheering for the Suns, so I might be a little bit biased, but the Phoenix Suns will go over the Milwaukee Bucks in my tier list for the week. Next, Dame Dollar and the Portland Trail Blazers. Right now, it's the West, is stacked in the West. So they're 10th in the West, 11 wins, 14 losses. I would say they're a good team below the Clippers. I put them above the Clippers because if I had someone in the clutch, I would prefer Damian Lillard over PG-13 or Kawhi Leonard. Now, speaking of clutch teams, it's like Sacramento Kings. Let's just put them where they belong, in the trash. New York Knicks. Now, New York Knicks fans are excited that their team is, winning games. However, as of today, December 8th, 2021, they are 11th in the East, 12 wins, 12 losses. They're at 500, but they're not breaking the 8th seed. So I believe that they will be one of the better teams in the East. So that's why I'm putting them in the great category above the 76ers, but below the Lakers because no one's going to beat the Lakers when it comes down to playoff time. New Orleans Saints this year, not New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans. NFL list coming up pretty soon. But right now we're going to be doing the New Orleans Pelicans with Zion Williamson, who's still out with injuries. And the rest of the team isn't worth talking about because I don't know anybody on the team other than Zion. 7 wins, 19 losses. I'm going to put them in trash. There's the trash. Charlotte Hornets. 7th in the East, 14 wins, 12 losses. Really good team. I can't put them in great, but they're really good. I put them above Washington in the East. What's it? LaMelo? Is LaMelo on the team? Yes, LaMelo Ball. Houston Rockets. Trash. Skip. Miami Heat. Miami Heat is a great team this year. I'll put them above. I put them above, actually below the Lakers, better than the Knicks. In great teams this year. Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls is my pick for the Eastern Conference. It's my pick. Chicago Bulls are gonna go. I don't want to do this. I gotta put them in God tier. I gotta put them in God tier this year. They're second in the East, 17 wins, 8 losses. One win behind, actually one loss below the Brooklyn Nets, who I'm going to talk about next. But they seem like the team for the 2020s. The Chicago Bulls are back in business after being out of business for 25 years. But next is the Brooklyn Nets. We already know where they're going to go. They're going to go in God tier because they're just too damn good. You got Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Bruce Brown, Joe Harris, James Harden. It's just too much. Paul Millsap, Patty Mills. This is too much on the Nets right now. OKC Thunder, they lost by 73. They're going to trash. Golden State Warriors going in God tier above the Nets. Golden State Warriors only have 4 losses. The Phoenix Suns also only have 4 losses. This is going to be good. This is going to be a good, like, I'm going to put Suns in God tier as well. But I do know that it'll be the Suns and the Warriors. Like Suns, Warriors, Lakers, and I would say Portland Trailblazers to, the top 4 teams in the West. Then we got the Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls. I want to say Boston. However, let me see what the standings are looking like. Brooklyn, Chicago. I would say Miami, and then I want to say Milwaukee again. So those are my 4 teams to to end up in the top 4 in the East. Speaking of top in the East, the Boston Celtics are not doing too good. Even though they are above 500, 13 wins, 12 losses, they're gonna pull it out. So I think they're gonna be one of the better teams. So great below the Jazz. I'm not sure if they're gonna make it to the finals or the Eastern Conference Final or semifinals or not. But they've shown me for the past 2 years that they will not give up. And speaking of teams that do give up, Orlando Magic. They have 1 win better than the Pistons, so I'm going to put them above the Pistons in the bad category. So there you have it. This is the end of the tier list. I have the Golden State Warriors. Actually, I'm going to do from the trash up. So in trash, I have the Atlanta Hawks, Sacramento Kings, New Orleans Pelicans, Houston Rockets, and OKC Thunder. In bad, I have Orlando Magic, Detroit Pistons, and the San Antonio Spurs. In the average category, we have Toronto Raptors, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Indiana Pacers. In the good category, this is the gray area for the playoffs. We have Portland Trailblazers. We have the Los Angeles Clippers. We have the Charlotte Hornets, the Washington Wizards, the Dallas Mavericks, the Denver Nuggets, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now we have the great category, which are teams I am locking in for the playoffs. We have the Milwaukee Bucks, the Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, New York Knicks, Philadelphia 76ers, Utah Jazz, and the Boston Celtics. God tier teams, there's only 4. These are my locks for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. We have the Golden State Warriors, the Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, and the Phoenix Suns. Okay. And that has been another episode of the KrisCross Corner. Please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. And follow and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Go to KrisCross Corner on YouTube. Remember that. Go on YouTube, KrisCross Corner, to look at all things KrisCross Corner. Great debaters, Chris and Chris, Only Amigos, food tours, and new shows coming in 2022. We will have an episode on that, only on the shows that are coming in 2022. But for right now, please go to anchor.fm/KrisCrossCorner/support. $5 a month gives you the power to give me topics for the show. Okay? Some days I'm not creative. So I rely on your guys' input. Without your input, I might not have a show that week. So please, the show is anything that you want it to be. Just tell me what you want to talk about. Okay? Just like this. Someone just told me, let's do a tier list on how the NBA is doing right now. So I just pulled up the NBA teams and did one. Let me see. Let's do a screenshot so I can post it on the KrisCross Corner Podcast Facebook group. Please join that. There are 710 members of you guys right now. So thank you for your support. And if you want to do another tier list, we're going to do another tier list for Christmas. We're going to probably do best Christmas movie or best Christmas song. We don't know. Please give us some input. Mark and the gang will be back on another episode of the KrisCross Corner. But for right now, please stay safe, social distance, and be nice to each other.